because he wasn't ruling himself only. He had to take into account what his public wanted, whether it was going to a Nahrawan, and now it was there dragging their feet on finishing the military responsibility that was beckoning, and that is those who have grabbed power in Ash-Sham. These dissidents, to get a further understanding of how violent prone they were, there was this one occasion where this person comes up to Imam Ali. His name is Ibn al-Kharrit or al-Khurayyat. He comes up to Imam Ali and he says, I don't want to obey you, I don't want to pray behind you, and I don't want to have anything to do with your decisions. This is the wrap-up of what he said to him. And Imam Ali wasn't the type to say, throw this person into prison, as is the case today. They would interrupt him at times when he was giving his khutbah inside the masjid. He didn't say, send in the security guards and chain them and put them in or put them behind bars. None of that existed. Which goes to prove to us that we had a civil society and we had a ruler the likes of which we still don't have today. The freedom that the Muslims enjoyed, they enjoyed it to such an extent that they did not know how to honor a leader when they had one. So this person who says these words to Imam Ali says, okay, you come to me later and we can discuss this when you are more in control of yourself. So he was expecting Imam Ali was expecting this dissident to come back in a day or a few days, but he never came back. He goes back to his enclave of dissidents, and they build up their intention to violently oppose Imam Ali. And on their way to this violent opposition inside Al-Kufa, because he had left Al-Kufa to his own people, his own types, on their way they run into two people. One of them was a Yahudi, and the other one was from Al-Mawali, a Muslim. So they ask Al-Yahudi, what's your persuasion? Who are you? He says, I'm a Yahudi, I'm a Jew. And they let him go because he is from Ahl al-Dhimma. And then they ask the other person, now who are you? He says, I'm a Muslim. So they knew he's a Muslim. Now they wanted to query him, what do you think about Ali ibn Abi Talib? And he says, well, I agree with him. So when they knew he agreed with him, they just killed him. This is just a sample of how violent or how violence was practiced early on. So when we look at violence today, especially those who use this violence against our own selves, we understand this is nothing new. It's been there all along. But it hasn't been considered with our minds. We've never taken a mental look at how this originated what the excuses for it were and what the rationalization is here. That no one has taken the effort to do, even after all of these years. So Imam Ali sends to Ibn Abbas, who's now in Al-Basra, the governor of Al-Basra, to see to it that this person and those who are with him do not go into areas and places in this jurisdiction and kill people like they are doing. So they are pursued now by a force from Al-Basra, these Khawarij. They are pursued by a force from Al-Basra until finally they are caught up with. There was some skirmish, and then hundreds of them were taken as prisoners of war. And on their way to Al-Kufa, there's a person who says, wait a minute now, I may be able to ransom these Muslims. And he gave the command of the Muslims who were in charge of these Khawarij his word that he will ransom them. He paid a small amount of money, and he gave his word that he will pay the rest. So they freed them. And then when they arrived in Al-Kufa, Imam Ali asks what developed, what happened. And he is told. So he communicates with this person. His name is Masqala. And he tells him, your word was that you would pay the rest of the amount that you said you would pay. And this person says, no, I'm not going to pay anything. Now, we can cover this as a story, but this is not a story. This is a narrative of history, a political behavior that begs and demands our attention. What happens here? What had happened? This person who now ransomed these Khawarij, and by the way, they belong to the same tribal structure, was in touch with Muawiyah in Ash-Sham. And Muawiyah was trying to win him, and now trying to use this internal opposition in Iraq against the Islamic leadership. So when this Masqala, when he understands that he's not going to be able to face up to the central authority in Al-Kufa, he escapes or runs away to Ash-Sham and joins Muawiyah and that camp. And then Imam Ali said a statement, a sentence concerning this man. مَا لَهُ قَاتَلَهُ اللَّهُ فعل الأسياد وهرب هروب العبيد. Said, what's wrong with this person? May Allah take him on. That's the way that expression is phrased, meaning Allah will take care of him. What he did was honorable by ransoming some Muslims. But what he wound up doing was dishonorable by running away like a person who has been denied, like people who have been denied their freedom.